All right, welcome everyone. Excited as everyone's joining in to kick off the Startup Grind and SBA event with the U.S. Small Business Administration. So I'm Jason Kraus. I'm the chapter director for Startup Grind here in Boston. Our organization hosts, or we have about 200 different chapters around the world, hosting both virtual and in-person startup events for entrepreneurs around the theme and or around the values of making friends and not just contacts, learning from each other, and giving first before asking for something in return. And we built up an amazing community here in the city. We've been excited to have amazing partners, and like the SBA team here with Carlos and Shelly and Christy, who are going to be leading the webinar today. And yeah, we couldn't do this without our audience and community like you. So as you're jumping in, would love to have some introductions in the chat. You can use the chat feature at the bottom. Just, share who you are, share a LinkedIn, what startup or what business you're working with, and then, during the presentation, we can also use that for questions along the way. Um, a couple quick updates, and then we can dive right in. So, coming up, or in Silicon Valley in a few weeks, the week of the 26th, is the Startup Grind or the week of it'll be the 28th and 29th in Silicon Valley is the Startup Grind Global Conference. I'll be out there for anybody that's joining in, and we'd love to meet. We're going to host lunch as well for any Boston founders that are going out there. And so that's a 2-day event. About 5,000 people from around the world come in, and a lot of amazing speakers. Then May 6th, we're going to share the sign up link by Friday to Monday. And we're going to be hosting another event over with Venture Lane in Boston, between Startup Grind, Prepare for VC, Venture Lane, all about fundraising in the age of AI. That'll be May 6th. And then we have a big competition coming up during Tech Week, May 26th as well, which will be the Startup World Cup. So that'll be on the Tuesday of Tech Week, the end of May. And that's already listed on startupgrind.com/Boston. Um, and we'll share all of those in the recap email to everybody that came out today. You also get a recording. This will go up on our YouTube channel, and we'll share it out to go back and um, go back and listen to all the amazing advice you're getting from today's conversation. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Christy, Carlos, and Shelly, who are going to kick things off and share about all the amazing programs and how you can, some of you might have already participated in SBA funding or SBA webinars, and some of you might be learning about the programs for the first time. So for everyone here, you know, would love to have you interact, ask questions, and learn along the way with us.
All right. Thanks, Jason. Thanks so much for having us. Hi, everyone. I'm Shelly Gillis. I'm an outreach and marketing specialist here at the SBA. We're going to kind of take this presentation in a couple different chunks. So I'm going to kick us off here and talk with you about some of the resources that SBA has to offer. But first, just a little bit of an overview. We are the Small Business Administration. We're the federal agency that supports small businesses. We like to say that we power the American dream. We have been doing this for more than 70 years. We were created in 1953, and we are the only go-to resource and voice for small businesses. We can help in all different stages, whether it's planning a business, growing the business, We're helping, people scale up. And even now, especially with the silver tsunami happening, we're helping people try to figure out what comes next, how to wind down their business or sell it or hand it off in some way. So we're available for all different kinds for that life cycle of your business. So how we can help is 4 different areas. We offer 3 C's and a D: access to counseling, access to capital, access to federal government contracting, and then we can also help in times of disaster through our disaster loan program. Everybody probably recognizes some of these logos, or maybe all of these logos. Every one of these obviously started small. You have to start somewhere. And they all got where they are today with some form of SBA funding. So I always like to think that one day your company will be so big that we'll be using your logo on our slide. We know that entrepreneurs are really busy. You're wearing a lot of different hats as you get things off the ground, and don't always have time to come to an event or a webinar. So we have put together a great learning center. It's pretty comprehensive. There's a lot of great information there. There are free online courses and workshops, things from infographics to fireside chats, all sorts of information there to help you. And the internet is open 24/7, as you all know. So you can take a look at that information there whenever you need it to go over those business plans, legal requirements, different options for financing, and all kinds of help there. The other thing I should mention too is, Jason, we can go ahead and send these out in a PDF form after the call. So this does have really helpful links to our website. So there's a lot of information on our website. Sometimes it's nice to have that breadcrumb trail to find exactly the right thing that you're looking for. But I mentioned counseling. We have a fantastic resource partner network. All of these folks are approved and funded by the SBA. We've got 1,400 different partner offices across the country. And in a nutshell, there are essentially 4 that we work with very closely. You may know some of these, but SCORE is the first one, score.org. This is a nationwide nonprofit made up of volunteer mentors who volunteer their time. They've all got prior business experience, and they can work with you for as long as you need them on a variety of topics. Their network is really strong. So if there is a particular niche that you need, they likely have somebody with that expertise. Here in Massachusetts, we've got a really great network for entrepreneurial support. So there are 6 different chapters of SCORE. They can help with all of those different things that you need. And I should mention their resources are free and they are confidential. So definitely reach out to them. Best way to connect is to go to their website and fill out their intake form, and then they'll reach back to you for an appointment. We've also got the small business development centers. We have these across the country as well in all 50 states. These are paid advisors, but they're not paid by you. Here in Massachusetts, they're mostly affiliated with UMass Amherst and the Eisenberg School of Management, but in Worcester, they're affiliated with Clark University. In Salem State, in the Northeast, they're affiliated with Salem State University, Salem State College. And so again, 6 different ones across the region, plus the export center. These folks can help with that, the business plans, loan applications. Sometimes they do legal clinics and things, but they've also got goals in finding businesses funding. So this is another great connection for you if you're looking for funding to get your business off the ground. So the msbdc.org is the best way to connect with them. And then the Center for Women in Enterprise. We do have women business centers all across the country. Here in Massachusetts, we work with CWE. Their website is cweonline.org. There are 2 in Massachusetts. Boston handles the eastern part of the state, and Worcester handles Central Mass and beyond toward the west. So they've got a lot of great networking opportunities, a lot of topic-specific workshops. They've also got some legal and business counseling, a really great organization. And they were created for women, but they help everybody, not just women. So reach out to them too. And then finally, for our veteran business owners and military spouses, the Veteran Business Outreach Center of New England is a great resource. They offer all kinds of, they've got business advisors and they help connect veterans to all the different resources that are out there for small business owners who are also veterans. And that's my piece. I'm going to hand it off to Christy.
Right. Thank you, Shelley. All right, everyone. So as you can see on the screen, it's time to talk money. So every successful business, it starts with an idea, but it really grows with access to the right capital. So whether you're just launching, if you're expanding, or navigating your next big move, understanding your funding options is really the first step into progress. So let's talk about what that looks like through the eyes of the SBA. Right. So, SBA loans. So, we can't do this alone. We do not directly lend any money here at the SBA unless it's for a declared disaster. The way we get this done is we partner with our incredible lender network in the state of Massachusetts. So, we have over 150 approved lenders in Massachusetts that offer microloans and SBA backed loans. Now, they come with competitive terms, longer maturities, lower equity contribution, and the huge part that Shelley dove into is that counseling and education piece. So where does the SBA guarantee fit versus the conventional range and the no-go range? So if you take a look here on the left, that is your picture perfect borrower. That is a lender's hope and dream walking in the door. So you have experienced management, you have great debt service cash flow, fantastic credit, great collateral, you have an incredible business idea, and you have some financial reserves. So this right here, a lender would be able to lend to you conventionally without the need of an SBA guarantee. Now, if we look all the way to the right of the screen, this is the no-go range. So here at the SBA, we like to say we can't make a bad deal good, but we can make a good deal possible. Here on the right, this is just not feasible for the lender or with an SBA guarantee. So you have, no management experience, no repayment ability, an impractical business idea, no financial reserves, and no equity investment. So no skin in the game. Somewhere in the middle of those two extremes is where the SBA comes into play. So things that affect that's going to be a lender's regulatory environment, liquidity or lack thereof, also the economy. That is a huge factor. What does the economy look like in that time? How will your business react in a down economy versus when things are going great? So these are all factors that do have to be grouped in for us to know if this is a good fit for you. Right. Now let's talk about the 5 C's of credit here. So what are lenders really looking for? So the 5 C's of credit, they're the foundation that the lenders use to turn a business story into a confident lending decision. So these are things that you are going to want to make sure you look at before you meet with a lender looking for financing. So let's actually get into the 5 C's of credit a little bit. So first up, we have personal credit and character. So a lender really considers who you are as a person, not just your business. So they want to see that you have management experience in your industry. They want to look at your past credit history, any banking relationships and your loan repayment history, and your personal reputation in the community. So these are all things that a lender is going to take into account when you're looking for financing options. Now let's talk about capacity and cash flow. So capacity and cash flow, they're critical. One for business survival, but also for your liquidity and your growth. So it basically ensures that your business can pay the debts, cover operating expenses, and potentially fund some new opportunities. So positive cash flow increases credibility with lenders. And this is the most important C in the 5 C's because it really measures if you have that repayment ability to pay back a loan. And of course, a lender is going to stress that. Now, if you're an existing business, they're going to look at capacity and cash flow a little bit differently than if you're just getting started. So if you're an existing business, they're going to look at your historical cash flow, any financial statements you have through the business, a minimum of 2 years of tax returns, and 3 to 5 years of financial projections. So you have some historic data. They can see the life cycle, how you've been doing, how you've been performing. So they are going to want to see that. Now, if you're just getting started, you don't have that past historical data. You don't have that track record to show yet. So they're going to rely on some different things, like your business plan, for example, your personal financial statement, and 3 to 5 years of financial projections. Now, if you're just getting started, maybe you don't have a business plan, maybe you don't even know what that means. So who can help you with that? That's exactly what Shelly was talking about earlier, our free resource partners. They can help you get a business plan on paper. They can help you get your financial projections so that when you go meet with a lender, you are prepared. All right, now let's talk collateral and guarantees. So collateral is obviously something of value that you own or you will buy with money from the loan that you are going to pledge to secure that loan. So lenders love collateral, which actually leads to the number one reason why a lender utilizes an SBA guarantee, and that is lack of collateral. So here at the SBA, we would never deny a loan solely based on lack of collateral. So SBA for personal guarantees, we are going to require a personal guarantee for any owner 20% or more in the applicant business. And the lenders are going to want to do the same as well if you're going conventionally. That personal guarantee is absolutely crucial, and most lenders will always require it. Now, capital contribution. So, skin in the game. The lenders want to see that you are invested in your business the way you are looking for them to invest in your business. So, they want to see that, you've put your time, your effort, your finances into this business. That means that, you think it's actually worth something as well. So, they're going to look at how much infusion you have put into the business as well. It's going to show your commitment and what the risk level looks like if the business were to fail. So definitely another one that they're going to look for here at the SBA when it comes to contributions. So, putting money down, we're pretty silent on that unless we're talking about a pure startup or a change of ownership. Then the SBA would require a minimum of 10% down of the total project costs. Now, again, as I mentioned before, so conditions, these are things that are going to be a factor in the decision-making of a lender approving or not. So, for example, your loan amount, how much you're asking for, the interest rate, what are you going to be using that loan for? What is its purpose? And of course, how well is your business doing versus the industry as a whole? So these are definitely things lenders are going to take into account. Right. Now, we did go through the 5 C's of credit. So now let's kind of talk about an SBA loan and what that can really do for you. So as you can see here, whether you're launching, growing, repairing a startup, we do have a loan program for you. If you're, maybe you're looking to purchase an existing business, or if you just need access to a revolving line of credit for those day-to-day working capital needs, we do have a loan that may fit. Now, as I mentioned before, there are reasons why lenders seek an SBA guarantee. So we provide the lender insurance on a substantial percentage of that loan amount to help mitigate the risk. So let's say you're a pure startup. That is a little bit risky for a lender to lend to you conventionally. So they may seek an SBA guarantee, and that reduces their risk tremendously, and then it helps them get to a yes decision. So when does this happen most often? As I mentioned, collaterals, pure startups, business acquisition. So maybe you have limited experience in the industry, but you're looking to purchase an existing business. That's another big reason. Longer maturities. If you go conventional loan through a lender, you're looking at term 3 to 5 years. But with the SBA, we can go up to 10, which results in more manageable monthly payments for you, the borrower. And then business expansion and projections based on cash flow. So these are all the top reasons why we seek lenders using an SBA guarantee versus just going conventionally. Right. So now we have a little bit of background on when lenders actually use an SBA guarantee. So now let's actually talk about what these loans really are. So our 7A guaranteed loan program, this is our biggest, most heavily utilized loan program. So now I want you to think of the 7A loan program as like mama bear, and then we have bear cubs that fall under that umbrella. So with our 7A guaranteed loan, we can go up to $5 million. For any loans below 150,000, we provide the bank an 85% guarantee. And for loans greater than 150 all the way up to 5 million, we provide a 75% guarantee to the bank. So what does that actually mean? Well, that means at the end of the day, if anything were to happen, the loan goes into default, the SBA would pay the bank 75 or 85% of that remaining balance. So that is huge. That eliminates a lot of risk for them. The bank can do a $5 million loan with a 25% exposure. So that really helps them get to that yes decision if they can't otherwise. Now, within that 7A loan, we have our Express program. This is a very popular program. One of the big reasons is because it does have a revolving line of credit option. So for those working capital, day-to-day needs, maybe for your payroll, things that are ongoing, this would definitely be a great program for you. It can go up to $500,000. And the SBA does guarantee 50% of this loan. So SBA and the bank, we are in this together, 50-50 on this. And another one, for any veteran-owned businesses out there, we do not have any guarantee fees on this loan program in particular. Now, what can you actually use this 7A loan for? Pretty much any legitimate business purpose. If you're talking purchasing machinery, equipment, fixtures, buildings, whether you're financing your receivables or you need that working capital, refinancing existing debt, line of credit, if you're going to construct a commercial building, any legitimate business purpose, the 7A can be utilized for. Now, I also have to highlight our Mark loan here. So this is a new program for us, actually. It was released October 1st, 2025. Now, this loan program is specifically for manufacturers. So that's those NAICS sectors 31 to 33. Now, this loan follows the same structure as our 7A. So it goes up to $5 million with the same guarantee percentages. Now, this again is strictly for manufacturers, and it's really meant for those working capital day-to-day needs for manufacturers. Now, the great thing about this program is you can also use this as a line of credit or a term loan option. And if you are doing a line of credit, you can go up to a 20-year term. If you're going term option, you can do 10 years. So if there's any manufacturers on the line looking for funding, I highly, highly suggest you reach out to one of us after this so we can discuss if this is a good program for you. And we also have the 504 loan here. So the 504, it's not just another loan program. It really is a catalyst for growth for businesses. Now, this is primarily for real estate and heavy equipment, and there's no other loan program like it out there. So it's a three-party approach. So the bank is going to come in first lien position at 50%. And then our certified development companies, there are our nonprofit partners here. They are going to come in and act on behalf of SBA in a junior lien position at 40%. So that brings us to 90. So if my math is correct, that only leaves a minimum of 10% equity contribution from you, the owner. If you're going to look for conventional commercial real estate lending, be prepared to put down anywhere from 20 to 30%. With the 504, we only require a minimum of 10% down. So what are the real benefits for you? Well, we have below market fixed interest rates, low down payment to help preserve some of that working capital, extended terms, which leads to a lower monthly payment. We can go up to a 25-year amortization on these. No balloon payments. You can finance most closing fees, and collateral is typically limited to those project assets. So this really is an incredible loan program. If you're renting a space right now and you've been thinking about buying, I highly suggest taking a look at this loan program. It really is fantastic, and there's nothing else like it. Right. And let's talk microloans. So, an SBA microloan, it's a government-backed loan which goes up to $50,000, and it really is designed for small business needs. So, for those who are not ready to establish a commercial relationship, it may be the loan that works for you. So, we do have 7 SBA microlenders in the state of Massachusetts. Now, some of those microlenders may require a formal bank decline in order to proceed with you. So this really is an alternative option here. And these loans are provided through our microlenders, which are nonprofit community-based lenders. And one of the greatest things about these microloans is they come with technical assistance, which helps ensure that you are on track to achieving those goals. You know, the money is working for you the way you intended it to, and you always have a point of contact to help you along the way. Right. Now, that ends my portion here. So I am going to kick it off to my counterpart, Carlos, over there. He's going to be taking us home. So go ahead, Carlos.
Cool. Thank you, Christy. Let me get my orientation right here. All right, so cool. My name is Carlos Hernandez here, and I'm the lead lender relations specialist for the office here. Thanks to you, Jason, for putting this together. I'll take everyone home here with these follow-up slides, but the biggest thing is when you're thinking about programs and services, Shelly talked about, looking for technical assistance, you're looking for some counseling services. Then Christy talked to you about, our different debt programs through our Capital Access 7A loan, our, guarantee program that we have available through our banking partner network. But finally, here's where the SBIC comes into place. And this is where it's the venture capital arm of the SBA piece. So we work together with different venture capital firms, and you can find them all on our website here. But you as a small business owner that maybe you have some type of promising technology or something that you're looking now to grow beyond that's scalable, this is a perfect opportunity for you. So you can either do it through some type of direct investment, through some type of SBIC fund, or it's a combination of both. There's also some debt options that are available too. So really, really good opportunity for you if this is something that fits what you're looking for. Go to that website as that will be part of this as a follow-up link, and check out the different funds that are available, the different opportunities and funding sources that they have, and what they're seeking for when it comes to new types of businesses and industries. So really, really good opportunity for you. And here's the timing couldn't have been better for this presentation here, because I'm looking at a press release here that came out signed into law here on April 13th. So for a minute there, we were on a standstill when it comes to funding of the SBIR and STTR firms. And these are programs, because these are known as like America's Seed Fund. And this is an important fund here that helps businesses that have some type of innovative technology or service that's available. And with these different funding, you can take your business to that next level. So for right now, it was signed into law. They're reauthorizing this program, and it's good until September 30th, 2031. So a lot of different opportunity there to work with different agencies. We're talking here like the Department of War, Department of Energy, NASA, EPA, Department of Agriculture. So one thing that I believe this next slide will show is you'll notice there's been a lot of household names, different technologies that we know and use every day that started through this programming. So we're talking about here, if I'm taking a look at here, this you're talking like your Qualcomms, your Biogens, your iRobots. They all started through this type of funding. So good news for you. It's available. It's reauthorized. It's back into law. And now if you want more information of what the different agencies are available, or what the minimum requirements are, and if you fit that, go check out our website go check out the website at sbir.gov, and it'll give you more information as far as the minimum requirements, the type of industries, because we're talking innovative technology here, things that you could think about for be good for government use, things that are scalable, and just overall a really good time, because it was in the air for a while, but now it's back, it's signed into law and available for you to take advantage of. And here's something that's very useful to you as far as just information wise. So think about it. For if you were right now thinking, you know what, maybe a 7A loan would be good for me, or maybe I'm looking to grow the business. I need, more space, perhaps a 504 loan. I want to buy the building now. Where do I start, right? How does that process begin? One, we always recommend you start with the bank that you're doing business with now, right? You have that existing relationship with them. They know you, they know your accounts, they know your business, they know the cycles. So definitely that's the starting point, but it's not the only point for you. With this lender match tool, you're able to connect directly with the whole network of SBA partners in your area, right? You create a profile, you tell them what kind of financing you're looking for, a little bit description of like the business, the industry, the time in business, and it shoots out to all the different banks in your area. After 24, 48 hours, you as a small business owner, you open up your email, you'll get a list of all the banks that are interested in talking to you. So you opt in, you pick who you want, and then you'll receive their information, right? So no one will see your information until you select them. So that's really, very good for you as far as like getting overwhelmed with a bunch of inquiries. But it's a really cool tool. It's free to use, and it's through the SBA. So it's called SBA. It's called Lender Match via the SBA. And I know we have a question here, but real quick, last slide here. Most importantly, you sat through this presentation, right? You got a lot of good information here, but at the end of the day, there's going to be some events you want to partake in, or maybe there's going to be listening sessions. There's going to be different updates coming through the office. The best way to keep track of us is through our different either social media or newsletters. We send everything out, like everything that's upcoming, presentation like today, different in-person news. I'm sure like this SBIR, STTR info, you're going to see more information coming out now that it's been signed. It's only been a day and a half, and we're already getting inquiries on there. So if you want that information, follow us, and we'll make sure to get that to you as soon as we get it. And with that too, so right now, you sat through this presentation here. It's not everything that we've offered, right? Because we do have like some good like bullet points or some other programs that may not be suitable for you today, but perhaps in the future. If you go to this link right here, our small business resource guide, you'll get it all, right? So it's pretty much like our website in a book. So you can see everything that we have going on. It'll have like different links, emails, contacts, so you can make sure that you're following up with the right people, the right office. Because right now it's really like the SBA, .gov is one place, but we have so many different offices, and sometimes just getting to that right person to answer your question is really what you want. So take a look at it, download it, and it's either online or a physical copy if you need one. But here it is. So you got a lot of information today, and we don't want you to leave without anything. So at a minimum, jot down this contact information. It'll be provided to you as a follow-up, but we're always happy to discuss with you further individually a certain topic or question, either email, telephone number. It all works, right? So you can text us, email us. We're happy to help you throughout this process. So with that, I will pass it back to Jason and the team. But thank you everyone for attending this and learning a little bit more about what the Small Business Administration can offer you.
Perfect. No, great presentation, and excited to open it up for some questions. And I see we have Smita already having her hand raised, and anybody else feel free to raise your hand or ask in the chat. But I'll turn it over. Smita, if you want to ask the first question.
Yes, hi. Thank you for this presentation and for organizing this, Jason. This was very helpful. So I am Smita, CEO of BioClarity AI. What we do is we do predictive modeling for cancer drug therapy, specifically for radio pharmaceuticals. Basically, it's nuclear medicine. We put radioisotopes inside human body to kill cancer cells. So we are bootstrapped right now, but we were in the process of applying for SBIR. Last year, and as you said, when we lost funding, when the program lost funding, we kind of like dragged our feet and we stopped. And yes, I was really excited to see the funding is going to start for SBIR and STTR again. So my question to you is, even when we were in the process of working on applying for SBIR, we were kind of like dragging our feet because we were a little nervous, especially with the technology that we're building. it has to do with human body and genetics and cancer therapy, right? We wanted to navigate the waters, and then we were like, okay, if we apply for this, we don't want them to have to come back with this with a bunch of questions or say no, we can't be funded, because they don't understand what we're trying to put in there, because this is a completely new field. But with that said, what I wanted to ask you is, are there any particular groups or organizations that does industry specific mentoring for applying for SBIR? Basically, whatever we wanted to apply, the group that we wanted to apply for was specifically NIH in SBIR, and I think there's National Cancer Institute. There's a funding for that as well. So those were the two things we were looking at. But I've been looking for mentorship in this particular area, but I haven't been able to find anything.
So you want to take this one, or I can? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So one of the, I guess, good resources for you. So as a in the introduction, we learned about like different technical assistance programs that are available through the SBA. So one partner of ours is the Small Business Development Center, right? There's partially funded by like the SBA and the state. And one thing that they do offer is like they have like an SBIR, STTR type of contact. Now, whether or not it's like he will fit you specifically industry wise, but at least like feedback, the process, things to consider, some best practices, really would be something I recommend that you at least reach out and have that introduction and that conversation. So we can follow up and share that with you, but it's through our Small Business Development Center network, and that can offer you that person that knows that area much better full time.
I think if you go to their website, msbdc.org, you'll see somewhere it lists the contact people and their expertise. So I think you'll see it on there, but it's on their website. Let me see if I can find it.
I'm sorry, can you put the link in the chat if that's okay?
Oh, yeah. Well, let me do that right now. This.
Perfect.
That helps. I just needed a starting point. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll find it right now. I'll put it in there.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Great. And then I saw William has a question as well. Let's have you go.
Yeah, I do. So a couple things. First, Smitha, super cool stuff. And then Carlos, love the map back there. But my question is, what's that? That's a great map. I love maps. So I've used SBR funds for hardcore scientific research before. What I'm doing now is financial technology, and what I don't know is whether we're even in the right ballpark. Like, is that even something we do? Because it's absolutely not lab stuff. No one's wearing a white jacket or getting decontaminated and coming through the airlock.
Mm-hmm.
Does SBR stuff, it's small business, innovative research, but it's not science. Like, is that still something I should be looking at?
I would like, one of the things like presentations I've sat through, and it's always the key is like innovation, right? It has to be something very innovative, scalable to take a look at. You would imagine this is something like the government would want to adopt and use for future use. So that is, as far as like now, without knowing your business exactly what it does, I don't want to tell you yes or no type of thing, but it's always worth of a conversation. So in that link, right, that I'm gonna post all there, definitely sit and talk with, that contact that we have and discuss that. They can be frank with you and say, yeah, definitely this is worth, or no, it's not, right? Just based on
what I'm hearing is it's a maybe. I followed that link and I'll get a hard yes or a hard no.
Absolutely. We were brainstorming this session
That's great.
not long ago, and they were like, yeah, this is really like who this program is made for versus like, say, like a mom and pop, type of business that's, selling products like for the general public, probably won't be a candidate versus someone who has like a really tech-based type of technology that's wants to come to market type of thing.
Okay. Hey, thank you.
Here's the link there that I'm adding there. So you go to that right there, it says network listing, click on it, and then you'll see the different offices that we have. The one right at the end is what I was talking. It says Small Business Innovation Research Program, and it'll give you their link and telephone number.
Right. I see it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, do we have any other questions from the group?
I'd like to ask a question, if possible.
Sure.
Hi, guys. Thank you for the time. Really enjoyed this presentation. I was curious. I'm in a interesting predicament where I am in this in between where I have left my full time job to pursue this fintech startup that I'm in, and we're soon to launch. So something like a loan, of like an SBA loan, was something of interest to me. But given that I don't have like a full time income, for instance, and all of that kind of puts me in an odd spot, I think, in terms of the application for the SBA. I was wondering if there is some type of program or something that I might have missed that might be able to allow me to get a loan in this pre revenue period.
I think you're going to be up against like what other like pre-revenue type of companies are facing, right, when it comes to securing some type of capital in that stage. So one thing without you can perhaps take a look at would be like talk to like more of a maybe a like a some type of not like your big commercial banks, but maybe more of maybe a local community bank, maybe somebody perhaps that would get to know your type of business, the area, to know, hey, perhaps we could take a look at this. Also, too, bringing on new partners, fundraising through that way could be another consideration. But just not without knowing a lot about your specific business. A lot of times with our programs, yeah, you're right, right. You need to have some type of it's cash flow based, either on historical or projection basis. So really, that is where like the foundation of these programs start at. But I would just imagine one, try that lender match tool, right? Give that a shot. You put in your business itself. What are you looking for? A quick description of it, the timeline when you think you'll be able to start generating revenues. The more information the better, but that's definitely one recommendation that I would give you. And then number two, like if you want to follow up with this conversation, we can learn a little bit more about yourself. I'd be happy to have that discussion with you as well.
I think it's a good opportunity to mention too that oftentimes we have a lot of in-person events you might want to come to where we'll have a lot of lenders in the room, and it's kind of an easy way to have some conversations
Right.
with a bunch of people in the room. So just to let you know, next Thursday on the Cape in Hyannis, we're having a capital and resources matchmaker for small businesses. It's in Hyannis on the 23rd from 9 to 12. It's free. It's open to the public. We'll have a panel talking about access to capital with a few different lenders. And then we'll also have some Cape Cod small businesses talking about how they've used SBA resources to get where they are. So we'll have, I think it's about 12 different lenders around the room and a lot of different small business support resources down there. It's probably not a lot of tech-based, people, but the nice thing about register or signing up for our newsletter is when we do these different things around the state, there may be something that, is closer to you, or, they're always a good opportunity to connect and network. So just a thought.
Yeah, no, she brings up a good point too, Shelly does, because if you go to talk to three different banks, they all give you three different answers, right? Depending on what their credit policy is. So it's a really good idea to get in front of them, just say, hey, this is, where I'm at, this is where I'm looking at, and you can get some honest feedback as they'll say, come talk to us at this point, or maybe it does. We just don't know. Maybe it works now. But really it's, something that it's worth that conversation, especially if they're all in one place at one time.
Yeah, and as Carlos said, I threw my email in the chat. I think you should definitely reach out to myself and Carlos just so we can get like a bigger picture of your business and what's going on. I think we may be able to direct you more efficiently if we learn a little bit more about you. So reach out to us. We'd be happy to schedule a call and talk a little bit more.
I'm sorry, who was speaking there? I might have missed that.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's
Christy.
Christy.
Got it. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, great. Um, I don't see any more. Yeah, any final questions in the chat? Um,
Well, I did have one thing
oh yeah, sure.
I just correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm doing a startup, right? And funding is a little iffy. And so credit, like loans, probably inappropriate for me. But we'll get there. Um, for those of us that are in the same boat, right? And don't want to do a personal guarantee, the networking and the angel thing is good. And so I'm gonna shout out to Jason. Jason's an incredible contact for that. My team got huge feedback, huge benefit from working with him and his crew. And I thought I was good at pitching. I thought I was good at making slides. And oh boy, huge, huge improvement. And he also has another tool, which is just, oh my God, it shocked me. He calls it Compass. You could call it Focus too. It's a self-assessment, and I realized, oh my God, I'm trying to do too many things at one time, and it was very helpful. And so, for those of you that don't have excellent traction and are like, pulling it together and trying to get a direction, go connect with Jason. He posts his contact stuff. It's been fantastic for me, and I've been through 5 startups. So yeah, that's the end of my little speech.
I appreciate the shout out, and I just put the link in the chat for anybody that wants to try our Compass platform or learn more about our Prepare for BC resources as well. No, thanks, and yeah, it's great to see how much real-time taxes has changed and improved over even a few months since yeah, we originally connected as well.
Well, you're just saying that because you're grading your own homework, man. You were one of the people who improved this.
So something you just said there, William, made me think of a point that we wanted to make today too. So we've talked to you about, a little bit about what SBA has to offer. And honestly, it's really just kind of the tip of the iceberg. Certainly most people know us because of funding, but there's, you might be in a position today where all the information that we've given you and all the rest of the information that we haven't yet given you isn't really appropriate for where you are right now, but it might meet a need somewhere down the road. So, don't forget to come back to SBA. We'll be here to support you, whatever stage of business you're at. And I want to quickly mention too, our government contracting program, certainly not appropriate for somebody who's just starting up, but there's a lot of opportunity to be made in government contracting. So, once you've got some history and some traction, think about that and come back to us and learn more about it.
Can I ask a quick question about government contracting?
Sure.
Thanks. I'm glad you brought that up. So, me and my business partner, we have a SBA certified women-owned small business. We're a small marketing and communications consultancy, so not really appropriate for lending. A lot of this like loan stuff you're talking about, but we are very interested in breaking into the government contracting space. So, is there a direction you can point us for how to plug into those specific SBA resources that you just mentioned? And we're in Denver, Colorado, sort of auditing the Boston chapter today. So, just wanted to kind of understand a little bit more about what you'd recommend from a SBA resource perspective on that front.
Well, so I know here in Massachusetts, there are procurement experts at all of our resource partners. So I imagine the ones in Colorado are pretty much the same.
Okay.
But there's also another organization. It's called, nonprofit, I guess. It's called the Apex Accelerator.
Oh, yep, we're familiar. Yep.
Okay. So that's another great resource if you're looking for government contracting.
Okay, and we're just 1 year old, and when we first applied, we didn't get accepted. So I think we're eligible now. So I think it's time for us to go back to them.
Yeah. And I think my understanding, and maybe differently, the process is that, to get awarded a federal government contract, they're going to look for some type of history of contracting. So whether that's B2B or city or state contracting that you've had success with, that's going to play in your favor. So make sure you're kind of starting there before you jump into the federal world too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. No, I appreciate all the great insights today, and yeah, no, thank you for sharing. Yeah, we're gonna send, we'll send the recording, the deck over, and also the contact for all the SBA team here. And no, I appreciate all of your support, great questions and insights, and thank you for being an amazing partner.
Thanks for having us, Jason. Thanks
Thank
everyone
you.
for
Thanks,
attending.
Jason.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing all the information.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
You too.
Take care,
Yeah,
everyone.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.